This is Rummy's Corner. When boxing fans think of heavyweight trilogies, the ones that usually jump to mind are Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier and Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield, but one that often gets overshadowed and overlooked was the incredible trilogy between Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson. Following the retirement of Rocky Marciano, Floyd Patterson defeated Archie for the vacant heavyweight crown, and he made 4 successful defenses against fringe competition before taking on undefeated challenger Ingemar Johansson. Patterson was a 5-1 favorite going into the bout, but despite being the underdog and adding to this fight's intrigue, Ingo's vaunted right hand was held in such high esteem that it even had its very own nickname. In fact, it had 3 nicknames: Thunder and Lightning, Ingo's Bingo, and my personal favorite, Hammer of Thor. In round 1, Ingemar was able to control most of the action with his jab. It was a very tactical round. Floyd was doing a lot of bobbing and weaving and bending at the waist, so most of the jabs weren't landing, but Johansson was making Floyd reset every time he threw the jab. Patterson was trying to find the range for a leaping left hook, but Ingo was able to neutralize that tactic, and he was able to successfully control the range. In round 2, Patterson started with a little bit more offensive activity, but Johansson was still dictating the distance and effectively throwing his jab. As the round progressed, Johansson started opening up a little bit more with some nice short combinations. In round 3, the Hammer of Thor made its presence known. Johansson landed a nice left hook, followed by a big thunderous right hand that dropped the champion. Patterson was dazed. He was slow to rise and appeared hurt and confused. And after he got up, he inexplicably turned towards his corner and got whacked with 2 more punches for the second knockdown of the round. Patterson was apparently so dazed from that first knockdown that he didn't seem remotely aware of his surroundings, and Ingemar capitalized on this opportunity with 2 vicious shots that Patterson in no way seemed prepared to absorb. Patterson made it to his feet, but shortly after, he was dropped a 3rd time from a series of shots that were punctuated by another big right hand. Patterson again beat the count and was promptly dropped a 4th time from a combination that included another blistering right hand. But at this point, it appeared as if a light breeze could drop the champion. The bombardment of punishment he received was absolutely incredible, and the champion was clearly still feeling the effects of all those previous knockdowns. Patterson got up and fought on bravely, trying to do anything he could do to survive, but he just couldn't keep the Swede off of him, and Johansson was landing some clubbing, heavy-handed shots on the already wounded champion. Another brutal shot from Hammer of Thor sent Patterson down hard for the 5th time in the round. Amazingly, somehow Patterson beat the count yet again, making it to his feet on unsteady legs. He was quickly dropped again by another short combo that culminated in a big right hand. This was the 6th knockdown. But Patterson continued to showcase tremendous heart and determination. Johansson then dropped Patterson again for a 7th time in the round, and this time, referee Ruby Goldstein had finally seen enough and called a halt to the contest. Ingemar Johansson had just become the new heavyweight champion of the world, and in doing so, he became the first Scandinavian-born fighter to ever win the heavyweight world championship. almost exactly 1 year after their first encounter, the two would have a rematch. For Patterson, this represented the 12th time in history that a former heavyweight champion tried to do what no one had ever done before: win back the most coveted prize in professional sports. Early in round 1, Patterson showed right away that he would be willing to take more chances this time around, and he attacked Ingo with some leaping left hands. The same variety of punches he tried landing in their first fight with no success. But this time, Patterson was doing a better job getting inside and underneath Johansson's stellar jab. In round 2, Patterson was still being more aggressive, and he was starting to use his own jab more to try and help nullify Ingo's jab. Johansson then landed a big right as the hammer of Thor struck again, but this time, Patterson managed to absorb the shot and remained on his feet. That punch made Patterson more cautious, and Johansson was able to start establishing some rhythm with his jab. Patterson eventually started opening up again, but it had still appeared that Johansson had seized the momentum. Patterson came out in round 3 committed to using his jab, and whenever Patterson threw his jab, Johansson seemed to stop throwing his own. This was a tactical round that became a battle of positioning, where Patterson seemed to gain an advantage and was succeeding in making Johansson miss. Round 4 continued being a tactical affair where Floyd's faster feet, faster hands, and better overall athleticism all contributed to giving him an edge. He was winning the battle of the jabs, and he was being extremely elusive, which left Ingo hesitant to throw, and when he did throw, he was having difficulty finding the target. In round 5, Patterson landed a crippling left hook to the body, and he shortly followed this up with a leaping left hook that sent Ingo crashing down. Johansson appeared to clear his head quickly, and he waited for referee Arthur Mercanti to reach the count of 9 before rising. Patterson then pounced for the kill and unleashed a vicious, prolonged barrage. Sensing victory within his grasp, Patterson intelligently started going downstairs before coming back upstairs with another thunderous left hook, dropping Johansson for the second and final time in the round. He was out cold, and referee Arthur Mercanti counted him out for the 10 count. Floyd Patterson had just become the new heavyweight champion of the world, and in doing so, he became the first heavyweight boxer to ever regain the heavyweight world championship. In the rubber match of this epic heavyweight championship rivalry, Johansson started the fight fast and aggressively, and he seemed determined to get his jab going early. Patterson looked a little lethargic out of the gate, and the hammer of Thor struck again. Ingo landed a nice right hand that dropped the champion, but Patterson quickly rose to his feet and didn't seem too seriously hurt. Moments later, another big right hand from the challenger had Floyd down once again. Patterson beat the count again, and Johansson sensed the champion was hurt. He began stalking his wounded foe, but as Ingo was walking him down, Patterson threw 2 wild punches, the second of which was a mean left hook that landed right on the button. And now, Johansson suddenly found himself on the canvas. Johansson rose to his feet and didn't appear terribly hurt, and the round came to a close just a few seconds later without further incident. The second round started with both boxers maneuvering to find openings and looking for ways to land their power shots. There seemed to be a sense of urgency from the two fighters, and the intensity level here was nothing short of electric. The rhythm of this fight resulted in the becoming tied up more frequently, and this largely stemmed from the fact that neither man wanted to find himself at the end of the other one's punches. Both fighters stormed out for the third, trying to establish their jabs. But after a high-intensity start to the round, things started settling into a more measured and methodical affair. This trend continued in the fourth and fifth rounds, but Patterson's greater athleticism and greater punching variety were clearly providing him with an advantage. Johansson started out round 6 much better, and he took the initiative and rededicated himself to his jab. The challenger actually started backing the champion up for the very first time in the fight. Later in the round, however, Patterson threw a left followed by 2 clubbing right hands that dropped Ingo for the second time in the bout as he fell face first into the canvas. It was an absolutely brutal combination, and making matters even worse for Johansson, the way his face had crashed down onto the mat wasn't doing him any favors. Johansson managed to get to one knee, and he seemed okay as referee Bill Regan began the count, but then suddenly he fell over and dropped back down. Johansson then struggled to regain his footing, and just when it looked like he would make it to his feet, Bill Regan had counted him out. Floyd Patterson had just made the first successful defense of the Heavyweight World Championship since regaining the title, representing his 5th title defense in total. Former heavyweight champions Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson are not usually included in the discussion of greatest heavyweight champions of all time, and their brilliant trilogy is often overshadowed by those between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier from the 1970s, or Riddick, Bowe, and Evander Holyfield from the 1990s. But the epic trilogy between Patterson and Johansson produced 3 of the most action-packed, dramatic, and entertaining encounters in the rich history of heavyweight championship contests. It was a magical clash of styles that never failed to captivate and inspire. This is Rummy's Corner. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more classic fight recaps in the future. Good night.